Hey everyone, welcome back to Ontario Gardening. So today is September 1st and we are going to make it our last garden tour of the season. Usually I do October as my last tour, and if there's really something cool going on then maybe I'll pick up the camera, but this year's garden has been something else with all the rain that we've had here. The pest pressure, the weed pressure, it's just been like absolute insanity. We've got some healthy stuff still going on here and things are still producing. It's just, I'm having a hard time keeping up. I've got other things going on this summer and yeah, but let's just kind of show you what we've got going on. So like everyone, our hostas are going crazy. Our strawberries still look amazing in this tower. And in fact, they're still producing. So we're actually, I just watered, but we are going to put these into the ground and overwinter them. Watch for that. I'll show you how to overwinter your strawberries so that they'll come back next year. So I've got them in this tower right now, this gardening tower that just came from the dollar store. You've been kind of watching the progression of them all year. And yeah, we're going to definitely overwinter these so you can see them. Moving over to our patio, our apple trees. They are doing splendid this year. I actually have some apples. These don't get pulled till the first week or two of October. I'll show you in another video. We're going to use them to do a couple of different things. Some apple cider vinegar, some apple pie moonshine, that type of thing. But super, super cool. So this is what a dwarf, see what I mean about the weeds? It's been like 2 days. But anyways, a dwarf apple tree planted in a container. That's what this looks like. Finally producing. Took 2 years with a 1-year whip, but we're finally there. Moving along to the actual garden itself. Hey, garden puppy. What are you up to over there? The garden puppy, always on watch when we're out here doing tours. So I have ripped out some stuff. Side note. So we've still got our carrots going strong. Some of them are going to seed, so I'm going to be pulling these out soon. There was a line of radish. We pulled those out. Our asparagus still going strong, and still going strong with these Japanese beetles. Like, they're just relentless and won't give it up. Our peppers did well this year. So despite me not getting a very good germination on the actual plants themselves, we got a ton of peppers. So I got some jalapenos, I've got some golden pippin honey over there. So yeah, we did well with the peppers. They ended up doing good. I fretted for nothing. Here is what didn't go well. We had onions here and then peas next door. The peas kind of overtook the onions. The weed pressure, we had these weeds. I haven't actually looked them up yet. If you know what they are, drop it below. These weeds came and just overtook the onions. So what ended up happening, I found a potato from last year and then my niece planted a lobster, so we're just going to leave that there. Maybe next year it'll grow into something fun. But we have these onions that ended up getting choked right out from all the weed pressure in the peas. And then I think this is the biggest one that I got. So I'm going to have to go through and just take them all out from underneath. But yeah, as you can see, big empty spot here. Next door are cantaloupes. They actually are on their way. I have fertilized them a couple times. The weed pressure in behind this. So I just took a bamboo stick and on an angle, whatever hog panel I had left over, I put it on an angle as a trellis to kind of work up. It worked well, as you can see, except for in behind. The weeds just kept growing, and obviously that's taking nutrients, as you can see. It's taking nutrients from my soil, from my vines, which in turn takes it from the fruit. And with all the other stuff around it, I couldn't get in behind to weed. So lesson learned for next time. I would definitely put down like a weed cloth or something there in order to prevent that. Now moving next door, I had cucumbers. Those are more than gone, a lot earlier than last year. And I think the problem I was having, a lot of my cucumbers were like curling and like fat on one end and then thinner on the other end. If you see that, it's usually due to inconsistent watering, and that would not surprise me from this year. We got a good batch. Like, don't get me wrong, we did some of those patio snackers. We got a few of those. Like, I've had lots of cucumber sandwiches and made lots of cucumber different things. We made up some like feta salad and cucumber soup, but yeah, they were out a lot earlier. I usually still have cucumbers coming off, but just because of the inconsistent watering, the amount of rain that we got, I couldn't keep up with getting them all ruined. I have some rosemary still in here holding strong. I am going to be taking this off soon. I'm going to be making a ginger honey hair mask out of it. So I could totally do a video on that. Why not? It'll help some girl with their hair somewhere. These marigolds are out of control in this garden. So these were planted from seed. Everybody's come over this year. Nobody cares about my garden. They care about these marigolds that are all throughout the garden. So last year, if you follow me, you know I accidentally planted like these massive 3-4 feet tall African marigolds. Whoops. I planted the little ones, like the normal French spiky tips, I think they are. They were supposed to be a trap crop. So those Japanese beetles were supposed to come and nibble on these as opposed to my plants, and that helps to save your plants. Didn't go as the way I intended. Asparagus is apparently better. So are the zinnias. They love the zinnias. So I'm actually hoping to take these out because they're so beautiful, and I've been coming out and deadheading them and making them nice and big, as you can see. I'm hoping to take these out and plant them in my planters out front in lieu of mums this year. I always do mums out front come the fall, but I'm hoping that I can salvage these. So I'm going to come out here, deadhead the crap out of them again tomorrow, and yeah, I'm trying to keep them healthy enough to put out front for fall planting because they're such beautiful colors. Anyways, moving on. The honey nut squash, they're coming along well. So if you don't know what the honey nut squash is, it is a butternut squash. It's a variety of butternut squash, but they're more a single serve. They're a lot smaller, as you can see, and they have a lot sweeter of a taste. They're like the honey. It's got like a hint of honey taste. So they are supposed to be for people like me, who I'm the only one in the house that likes them. So I can easily pop that in the oven just for a single serve. And yeah, my beans have come and gone. They are on their last bit of production because these are now going to be beans that I save. So this is a perfect example here. If you let your beans go to like this on your vine, for those of you that don't know, at this point you can now save them for next year. So I'll just show you, for example. Whoop. See inside, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. So inside you now have beans that you can plant next year. How fun, right? So this is what we usually do, is I usually get 2 harvests out of these of beans that I save for myself and we process via canner or via the freezer, whatever. And then the last crop of bean, I let do this on the plant. And now I have all of my beans to plant for next year and I never have to buy beans again. So anyways, that's the situation. Now in behind, I'm going to take a step back. Hold on, I'm going to take a real step back. One sec. As you can see, my tomatoes are trellised in behind the beans. So I did that this year to try and utilize as much space as I can, and I will say it worked fantastic. So last year I had them this way in the garden, and I was only able to get like 2 panels and like a couple of tomato plants per bed. This way I was able to do all of my tomatoes across the back of the fence and then grow something in front, as you can see. So I was able to utilize that bed like for more than its fair share. Now that bed in the fall, I am going to have to amend like crazy. It's going to need lots of nutrition, lots of good compost, and maybe a little fresh batch of soil. just so I can make sure that it's got lots of good nutrients for whatever I plant next year. But the tomatoes have done fantastic. I should have came out here and shot yesterday. I picked off so many cherry tomatoes. I have about 2 gallons in the fridge of just cherry tomatoes. I'm going to do that recipe where you put the brick of feta. I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard fantastic reviews. It was all over TikTok, I think, last year. I never tried it. You put a brick of feta in the middle, all of the cherry tomatoes around with some onions and olive oil. You roast it and then you mix it, and that becomes like your sauce. So I'm gonna have some ravioli, I think, and do that. But anyways, we have tomatoes coming out still. I have a bunch of different heirlooms. That one down there that I just showed you is a Brandywine. But as you can see, tons of, I don't know what you can see back there, tons of different tomatoes all over the place in here. So next door, oh my gosh, zucchini, my favorite thing to grow, my favorite thing to harvest, my favorite thing to eat out of the garden. I use zucchini in so many recipes. I don't eat a ton of meat. Not that I'm a vegetarian or anything by that means. I just don't eat a ton of meat, and I use that a lot as a substitute. Now this year, these squash bugs, I have never had squash bugs ever in all of my gardening career. So that was fun. Literally on the branch, there was like a fistful of just squash bugs. It was intense. It was so gross. It hindered my plants insane. And that's why over there, I have put diatomaceous earth. I'm trying, if you have ways to combat squash bugs, please drop it underneath, because any of the research, any people that I've talked to, in my zone, my area, they don't really know about the squash bug. I put some diatomaceous earth. That's all I had and all that I was really willing. I'm not one for poisoning my garden as much as I can. I put the diatomaceous earth on because we're so late in the season. I'm not concerned too much about pollinators and stuff anymore. Most of my stuff is already ready to be ripped out anyways. So I put that on, hopefully to deter those squash bugs, because the minute, my fear was the minute I ripped out this squash, they were going to go after that. And sure enough, day 2, I already seen them starting to go over. So I was like, no way, these aren't ready to harvest yet, and I really am looking forward to them. So I put that down. But if you have any squash bug recommendations on how to get rid of those little buggers, please let me know. So this bed is empty. I am going to, tomorrow when I come out and do all of the deadheading, I'm off work tomorrow, so I can come work out and do a good haul in my garden. I want to turn this bed and plant some radish. I have more than enough time to plant some radish, and I think I might plant like 1 or 2 lettuces over there. I think I have like little gems seeds that I think they take like 50 days. So I might be able to get, because I am going to watch in the next couple weeks. I've got all of my canning videos and stuff coming out right now because 'tis the season to do up some canning. But watch in a couple weeks, I'm going to do a hula hoop house, obviously using hula hoops, to make like a little tiny greenhouse that's going to act like a cold frame to help protect some of my veggies, where I can actually make them last longer into the season. So our first frost date is usually, I'm in Canada, so our Thanksgiving weekend is usually the first weekend or second weekend in October. So that's my first frost date usually. I believe it's October 10th or October 14th is my last frost, or my first frost date. So anyways, I'm going to put it out a couple weeks before then, and hopefully I'll be able to extend my harvest into November. Anyways, moving on. Enough babbling. My zinnias, so beautiful. I love this kind. So I actually came out this year. I don't know if you can see this. And I tagged a couple of my favorite flowers so that I can make sure that I am 100% getting the seeds for that flower, so that next year I can plant them again. My calendula, after months and months and months of harvest, every day I was coming out to an entire open bed of calendula that I was having to harvest, which was fine. I have a purpose for them. I'm going to be making my own polysporin. but it was a lot. And if you like left them, so this is day 2. I didn't get out here yesterday. So it immediately looks like that. And then moving on to the next stage, it will completely go off and die off. And then the third stage is complete dry off. That looks disgusting. It looks like little buggies, but that's actually ready to harvest for seeds now. Those are all seeds for next year. If you go back into my seed saving series from last fall, you can see how to actually properly harvest those. You can actually see the zinnias and stuff is in the dahlias as well for seeds. But yeah, I've got a lot of seeds, as you can see. I've pretty much let it all go at this point. But now I can save them for my friends. I have a story actually. So there was blueberry bushes here. There's that weed again. See what I mean? What is this? It took over everything this year. So infuriating. Anyways, comfrey. I've got some comfrey in here. And I have a story behind this. Maybe I'll make it a separate video or just like a little short. That's come all the way from Windsor. So I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to start hacking at this soon just to make sure that I don't lose that, because that's a story. Not much else left to see. I have, as you can see, the remnants of my ground cherry. The plant was all the way, you can see where it was dead around the grass. It was huge. I finally snipped it back. I got more ground cherry than I ever thought was going to come off of one plant. It was absolutely insanity. I dehydrated it all up to make candy. Those were the pickling cucumbers in there. Those have been gone for a while. I've got my herbs and stuff up here. I'm going to come chop down and dry out soon. And then the dahlias. The dahlias are so pretty. Look at this one. I got this in a seed trade. I am in love with these. And as you can see, I've come out and tagged those ones as well. Love, love, love this year's dahlias around the pool. Probably a little too much, but yeah. And then if we come to our secret little garden on the side here, I've got the hose out, so I'm gonna try like not to trip and die. I actually haven't been back here in a day or two, which is really bad. But let's see what's up. Oh gosh. Okay. So I've got some lettuce that I need to come out and harvest. This was my lettuce ladder this year. Hate this. Hate this. But anyways, I've got my, so this was some leaf lettuce here. This is actually the little gem that has bolted. I'm still going to come out and harvest it and use it anyways. But I've got some herbs that did okay. Some did not. Between the bug pressure, and then this wasn't like a great spot for the light and stuff down here, but anyways, the only other thing I can show you before this garden tour comes to an end is my lemons. They didn't do as great. Now again, we've had such an overcast, rainy season, and of course lemons absolutely love sun and heat, being where they naturally come from. So of course this is going to come inside with me in the fall. And yeah, once the temperature, in fact, you know, at nighttime it's getting about that temperature where I could totally bring this inside, but I'm going to wait probably another 2 weeks before I officially bring it in. I'm going to have to climatize it to going back inside, but it's doing well. I feel like by Christmas we'll have some lemons. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Hello, garden puppy. For joining us on another season of growing in Ontario's garden in a small little suburban backyard. Just proof that you can grow food. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. But we will talk to you in the next video. Bye.